Please welcome Frank Haresnape, the Global VP of Knorr. Welcome, Frank.
Hey, Jeremy, great to be with you here on World Food Day.
Thank you so much. And thank you, of course, for Knorr supporting World Food Day Live. We couldn't do this without you. We're immensely grateful, Frank. Thank you.
Pleasure, Jeremy. You know, it's great to be working together again.
Could you talk to us, Frank, about Knorr and why World Food Day is so important to you?
Yeah, well, I think, Jeremy, let me take the opportunity just to share with the listeners about Knorr. You know, we're blessed with this brand. It's 185 years old. It's a really big food brand all around the world. It's Unilever's second biggest brand. It's our biggest food brand, just short of 5 billion euros. Kantar ran a study where they showed that in terms of consumer touch points, it's the fifth biggest CPG brand in the world. So we have this amazing brand called Knorr that has a footprint around the world. You know, our founder, which is a guy called Karl-Heinrich Knorr, began this brand 185 years ago in Heilbronn. And basically what he did, it's a great story, is he found a technology of basically dehydrating good ingredients like vegetables, putting them into a dried soup powder, giving the ordinary people who worked in his factory and then in the area access to basically really good quality food, very, very conveniently and affordably. In essence, he built this brand on the thought of making good food tasty and accessible to all. And it's on that thought that this brand has been built around the world. And so on World Food Day, you know, we as a brand feel really excited about it because it's an opportunity for us to reflect on the purpose of this brand, which is very similar to what our founder's intent was, which is, you know, we call it creating a craving for healthier food. And that's really what we want to do around the world. We want to encourage and help people because this is a massive consumer problem. You know, we talk about flexitarians, which is the majority of people. They actually want to eat in a healthier way. And by the way, when you eat in a healthier way, it's also better for the planet, but they want to eat in a healthier way. But there are some real challenges to that. Number one, accessing good quality ingredients can be a challenge. Number two, having the time and the skills to create healthier cooking can be a challenge. And number three, and perhaps most importantly, is sometimes eating healthier doesn't feel like you're eating as tastefully and as enjoyably as people want to. And, you know, at the end of the day, food is about bringing joy to life, and it is about enjoyment.
Thank you, Frank. Amazing. Well, you know, and great to know the history of Knorr. Certainly, I've been using it all my life, so it's great to know the backstory. Thank you for sharing that with us, Frank. You know, that sounds really great, right? In terms of, you know, the sort of the purpose, but is Knorr practically acting on that purpose?
First and foremost, Jeremy, most of the products that we sell on Knorr are used to make a meal. We are the world's leader in bouillon, which actually is a small part of a far bigger dish. And so, you know, a lot of our marketing strategies are focused on what we call top dishes, right? What are the top meals and dishes that people are preparing, and showing people how our products can help make those dishes tastier. Now, generally, those dishes that we choose are dishes that tend to be healthier and more balanced than other options that consumers can have. I mean, think about, you know, vegetable soup is a good example of that. And then typically what we do is, while we're encouraging them to use our product, we also encourage them to use more vegetables, more diversity, and more sustainably grown ingredients in terms of making those dishes. In parallel to that, we run big programs around the world where we really try to empower people to cook in a more healthy way. And these programs are, for instance, in Philippines, we've touched 12 million people with a nutrition program there. In Indonesia, our biggest flagship program, we've touched 22 million people. But we run these programs across the world, encouraging and supporting and educating ordinary consumers in terms of how they can prepare food in a healthier way. And I think finally, although the product is a small part of the total dish, it can still play a large nutritional role, particularly when it comes to fortification. And so, you know, that has been a big focus on the brand. Think of areas like Nigeria, countries like Nigeria, Ethiopia, in Southeast Asia, where, you know, we are fortifying with vitamin A, with vitamin D, iron, iodine, and zinc, and making a scalable difference in terms of the nutrient profile of the meals that are being prepared. I know across Unilever, We have last year we fortified over 230 billion servings. So this is really on a very significant scale.
So beyond these initiatives, as one of the world's biggest food businesses, and knowing the impact of food in relation to our environment, how are you acting at Knorr in relation to the climate crisis?
Unilever is leading in this space. It has a public commitment around being net zero by 2039, which is a very stretching and challenging ambition. But it's not alone in that, right? As industry and indeed many players across markets are rallying around this challenge. The one thing that has become very clear is that regenerative agriculture is an absolute game changer in terms of reducing greenhouse gas emissions. We know that the food industry itself is a massive contributor to the carbon footprint that we're all challenged with. And so actually transitioning our sourcing of ingredients to regenerative agriculture is a massive priority and focus for us. You know, I was just with my team in Badajoz in Spain a week ago, where we went to go visit one of the pilots that Knorr is actively supporting. Very dry part of Spain, by the way, getting even drier with the climate crisis. But just really encouraging results that we're seeing from a partnership that we've been running there for a few years. 37% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions, an increase in soil organic matter by 1.27 times. Fantastic that we more than doubled the pollinators. The bees are coming back to the farms. I think an increase in wildflower diversity of around 27%. So really dramatic improvements, actually positive improvements that regenerative agriculture is bringing, and especially around greenhouse gas emissions. And I know one of the themes of World Food Day is obviously water conservation, and through the usage of sensors, through smarter and more careful application of water, there's a real improvement in terms of water management as well. So these are massively encouraging results. By the way, we're seeing these encouraging results across a number of pilots that we're running. At the moment, we have just short of 10 pilots covering 48,000 hectares of agricultural land. By 2030, we want to be making a significant contribution to Unilever's commitment around 1.5 million hectares of land and ocean where we source product regeneratively. It's a massive challenge, of course, to fundamentally change our business so that it is net zero. A key piece of that is regenerative agriculture. We're really excited about that on the brand, by the way, because it allows us to talk again about the brand, the fact that we source our ingredients from the farms again with consumers in a very real way. But big challenge, very excited with the opportunity. This is one area, Jeremy, of course, where this is not a pursuit for unique competitive advantage, right? We really need all players to join us in this. We know that is happening with big players, but we really need an industry-wide transformation, and certainly we want to keep leading for that.
Frank Haresnape, the Global VP of Knorr, thank you so much for enabling Peace One Day to produce World Food Day Live. Thanks for all your support and for the incredible words that you've told us today. Thanks, Frank.
Pleasure, Jeremy. Great to be with you, and all the best for the rest of the program.